Well, got some little bit inside information here. We back Goodfellow Sports TV talking boxing once again. And apparently tomorrow is a special date. Mikey Garcia is supposed to have the contract to fight Richard Commey. And, I'm not going to disclose, like, the gist of this and all the stuff where I got it from. But, apparently, I believe it's still a chance for the Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence fight to go down. Yep, that fight not dead in the water. That's all I can really say right now. It's a belief, and I will word this right. It's a belief that Mikey Garcia will try to pay Richard Commey step aside money. He will move up in 2 weight classes to fight Errol Spence. The belief by many fans is that he will lose to Errol Spence. He will come back down and may fight Richard Commey and keep his belt, and then maybe fight Luke Campbell, or just tune up versus Commey, pay Campbell to step aside, and make the Lomachenko fight happen in sometimes in 2019. Okay, obviously, Mikey Garcia would love to keep his WBC IBF Lightweight Championship belt. He said that he on ES News that he wanted 3 more fights and then he is out. But what I can tell you is, it's a belief, and a strong belief, that Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence still has a strong possibility of happening. Okay? The belief is that they want to pay Richard Commey team step aside money, and he wants to hold on to those belts. So what it tells me is that he wants to retain those belts to unify with Lomachenko after he fights Errol Spence. Now, obviously, I would like to see him fight Richard Commey and then just fight Lomachenko and pay Luke Campbell to get the winner or get a shot after that. That's what we would all like to see. But obviously, this is my personal opinion right here, is the fact that Mikey Garcia wants to do a Kell Brook. And I've been saying this from the beginning. Mikey Garcia wants to move up 2 weight classes, fight Errol Spence, come back down and fight Lomachenko, okay? Just to have a built-in excuse on that's why he lost to Lomachenko. Because I moved up 2 weight classes. That's my belief. I'm not saying that's 100% true. But obviously he really wants to fight Errol Spence. And he's trying to pull all strings in the back to make it happen, because there's a possible date for him to fight Errol Spence. At the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It's March 9th. PBC has that date on lock. They have 2 other dates in January and February with Las Vegas MGM Grand locked in on those. So, Showtime can be in the pay-per-view business huge at the end of 2018 and the beginning of 2019, because you have 3 hypothetical pay-per-views. Well, one is for sure. You have a Deontay Wilder pay-per-view taking on Tyson Fury. Then you would have a Pacquiao versus Broner pay-per-view, possibly Andre Berto. Dark horse, maybe Danny Garcia, which I think that's a huge dark horse. And then you would have a March 9th pay-per-view, I believe will be Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence coming live from Vegas. In February, I'm not sure what that card will be, but you have an opportunity to have 2 first quarter pay-per-views and 1 fourth quarter pay-per-view in 2018 and 2 first quarter pay-per-view in 2019. And this is how this sizing up. But tomorrow will be the turning point for Mikey and Richard Commey. And the turning point is that apparently tomorrow is when Mikey Garcia and his team will present the contracts to Richard Commey. But the belief is, and I can't tell you who and why and where this comes from, the strong belief is, and I called it, is that they want Richard Commey to step aside. They're going to pay Richard Commey step aside money so Mikey can fight Earl. I mean, it's been talk about, they have a deal on the floor, but the contracts have to be signed and returned into the IBF by tomorrow. So when Mikey Garcia was doing that fight hype interview that he did with the girl, recording him, acting like we was dummies and didn't know how mandatories and how the system worked, he said it's things that behind the scenes, he made it seem like it was Errol Spence who wasn't available. But he said we're still working on things. He's working on things. So They working on a nice dollar amount for Richard Commey to step aside. We can still hold those belts. Then, as long as Richard Commey is cool with stepping aside, he gets an exception from the IBF, which they are really, really strict. You might have to pay him a little small fee. And then he's going to jump up 2 weight classes and fight Errol Spence. But my premise is basically he wants to jump up 2 weight classes, fight Errol Spence, come back down, and eventually fight Lomachenko. So he can have a built-in excuse like Kell Brook. So, from that standpoint, you don't put anything past these boxers these days, man. I don't put anything past them, okay, at all. Seriously, when I knew Kell Brook did that shit on purpose, bro. I knew he did that to diminish, from Errol Spence. Errol Spence said he got an update in 3 weeks. So I think Errol Spence has a plan A and a plan B. Plan A is Mikey Garcia still. That fight ain't dead in the water, from what I understand. And my sources, right here is pretty strong, and you'll know something by tomorrow. Okay? Or you might know something by Thursday. If I find something else out, I'll let you know. All right? But I think Mikey Garcia is trying to pull the ultimate fuckboy move. I couldn't say it no other way. Okay? He will come back down and fight Lomachenko. That's why he want to hold those belts. Because why would he want to hold those lightweight belts and wait for Lomachenko when he could fight Earl, and then by the time he probably will come back, if he fight Earl in March, by the time he come back is in the fall, and he could fight the World Box Super Series tournament in the 4th quarter of next year at 140. He still wants to fight Lomachenko. He thinks it's a chance that he could fight Lomachenko. But how willing will Bob be able to make that fight? What if Mikey get knocked out really bad, not the same fighter? His stock dropped, and he come back. I guess he would have to come back versus Commey, and tune up versus Commey, and then fight Lomachenko. Would it hurt the stock of the fight? Yes, because people will come in with built-in excuses saying, oh, Mikey got knocked out by Earl. He wasn't the same fighter. If Mikey would have fought him before he went to 35, before he went to 47, he wouldn't have been as weight drained. He wouldn't have been this and that. And, maybe 20, 30 years ago, with the greater fighters that was out there, maybe I will never sit there and think and be like, yeah, ain't no fighter ever going to do that shit, man. Ain't nobody dumb enough to do that. I don't believe, fighters like that. They live by the Warriors code. This guy is this tough. He'll fight any and everybody. I just think that's what he wanted to do. But now, fighters do so much not to hurt their stock. They do so much to create a facade for the fans, They do so much to appease their fan base and not leave their fan base high and dry. You know what I'm saying? So if he move up and come back down and fight Lomachenko, and he lose to Lomachenko where I was weight drained, where I made a bad decision. I shouldn't have moved up and fight Errol Spence. I thought I seen something that I can expose from Errol Spence, and I'm telling you, that's what this whole situation is about. Will Commey take step aside money? I can't tell you that he will or he won't. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you if he will or if he won't. But what I could tell you is that if it's enough money, why not? You get your IBF belt back. You're going to get that money back. You get free money just because you was a mandatory. I can respect that. Get your money. Aldir Alvarez worked the system. He was getting 6-figure step-aside money from Stevenson. And you see why Stevenson didn't want to fight him after he iced Sergey Kovalev. So he getting fight money on top of step-aside money, He pro'd up on that. Especially if they can give it to you under the table. It's all pros. And no Uncle Sam can't get none of it. Richard Commey would be smart to do that. Because eventually this guy going to come falling back down. And if he beats Earl or loses to Earl and he wants to fight Lomachenko immediately, then I'm going to need some more step-aside money. And then, when Lomachenko get the belt, you get your shot at Lomachenko. Plain and simple. You play the game. I know you want the fortune and fame, you want the money bad, but obviously you getting 3 different paydays. You know what I'm saying? 5 really, because Mike, you don't want to fight you still stay busy. You get step aside money on top of another fight. Then you want to fight next year, right around the same time he fight Earl. You get your bread. Then you come around, he want to fight Lomachenko, come back down, fight Lomachenko for the belt. Then guess what? You get your bread again. You got to step aside. And then you get your title shot versus Lomachenko, whoever hold the IBF belt. So, secure your future. You know what I'm saying? Put that money up and just keep it moving. Just live off your fight money. Can't nobody get a piece of that step aside money. You don't owe it to no trainer. A legal fee might come out of it, but you don't owe it to no trainer, no cut man, no nothing. That's pure money. That's the beauty of step aside money. It's your money. Your manager might get a cut. But that's it. You don't have to pay the cut man. You don't have to pay the promotional fee most of the time. That's all your money. So you get you possibly can get 2 step-aside paydays and still get a title shot. Commey ain't hurting for time. I think he's still a younger fighter. He got Andre Rozier in his corner, so him and Andre Rozier can take little tune-up fights, or a part of the step-aside agreement is, I want to fight on one of your undercards. I want to fight on one of your televised undercards to get exposure to build our fight up. And you can make that part of the step-aside agreement. You get you another really good payday, a televised PBC payday, possibly on the undercard of Mikey and Earl pay-per-view, or you could actually be on the Pacquiao and Berto, or Pacquiao and Broner, whoever get that fight pay-per-view. You could actually be on the Mayweather pay-per-view in Japan, or the Mayweather card in Japan. You know what I'm saying? Or whenever he come back and fight. Or you could actually be like, shit, I just want to be on the Pacquiao and Mayweather televised pay-per-view. You got all the power. And Al Heyman to make that happen. And you never know. You might be like, I want to be a PBC fighter. They might like you. PBC, because what I understand, Robbie Richard Jr. could be moving up. So PBC needs some lightweight contenders. Shavakov moved down. So if Lomachenko was somehow to move up, or whatever happens to him, he don't want to pay sanctioning body fees, and Mikey goes do what he do after the Lomachenko fight, whatever happened, Richard Commey can be there, and he can provide some sauce at 35. Right with Devin Haney, even though he's a Showtime affiliate fighter, you could be right there with the Teofimo Lopez's, Devin Haney's, and he got experience over those guys. He got physical attributes over those guys because he's a real grown man. So PBC need a headhunter at 135. They need somebody who got next. He can get a title, and he could fight Tank when Tank come up to 35 and help Tank get a title. So he's of use. You know what I'm saying? He's of use. Like, if he plays his cards right, step aside money, I want to be on a televised portion, end up getting a PBC advisory deal or PBC little management deal, and they can get him a title, then he can eventually fight Tank, then he came out as a winner, But don't forget, early morning grind, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, my boxing talk show every morning, right here on Goodfellow Sports TV. You can find the replay on the podcast right here on YouTube. The podcast allows you not to have to be in the YouTube app and move around your phone and listen to it. Use a backlight like a song. Also, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter if you want to.